available for this web meeting. The purpose of this web meeting is first to explore cooperation opportunities in the development of guidance and capacity building materials in the context of the District Energy in Cities initiative coordinated by UNEP, and where ICLEI and C2E2 co-chair the capacity building task force. So that's the first objective, let's say. As a second objective, and if indeed each one of your organizations is happy to explore a cooperation and partnership opportunity here, then I would also like to take advantage of this session already to give you a few key concepts and notions so that we can already move forward with the cooperation. So basically also to give you a bit of training or coaching so that we can quickly move forward in this possible cooperation. So I didn't prepare a slide specifically for this. I hope you can now see my screen, but I would appreciate if one of you could confirm. Let me see.
I can see it.
Okay, thank you so much. So what you are seeing here is the home page of the Solutions Gateway. You can see the URL. Actually, it doesn't change the size, but let me paste it on the chat box. I invite you also to load this web page and bookmark it. So the Solutions Gateway is an online platform which ICLEI developed with funding from the European Commission. And this online platform is aimed to provide guidance for local governments on low emission development for their communities, for their cities. So it covers different topics. Just to give you a visual idea, it covers from energy at utility level to the different sectors of energy consumption, from buildings to transport. It covers the waste sector, water and wastewater, land use, and also cross-sectoral themes. But so basically, those themes, those topics, those sectors that are usually relevant for local governments and where local governments have a mandate. So this online platform is something that we have offered in the context of the District Energy in Cities initiative. We've offered to UNEP, and as part of our contribution to this initiative, we are developing online guidance for local governments. And let me, before going into more concrete aspects that may be of more interest to you, more particular interest to you, just to give you the general idea or of the Solutions Gateway and its key features. So one of the key features of the Solutions Gateway is that it is tailor-made for local governments. So it really is designed, and the contents are written to really tailored to those that are usual local governments' roles, mandates, and sphere of influence. So the contents that are available in the Solutions Gateway are not, for example, research papers or anything like that. They are written in a very targeted way to local governments. Another key feature is that it is based on proven practices. So again, not exactly research papers, research materials, but the type of information where we can find sources from different locations that confirm that a given solution works. Another aspect is that the contents are developed by experts and peer-reviewed before they go online, because it is very important for us to ensure that the users can indeed trust the contents that are made available. And another, and I dare say, a bit of an innovative characteristic of this platform is that it tries to offer an integrated approach. So on each solution, we try to bring in a multidisciplinary approach, and the aim of this is to maximize the benefits and the effectiveness of the solution, and to maximize the results, and which in this case are low emission development and sustainable urban development. So this is just an overview, an overall introduction to the platform before I even get into the other web pages. But so I wanted to let you know that at any time, please feel free to unmute yourselves and to raise questions, make comments, because really this is a meeting, this is not a webinar, but I really want to hear from you, and I want to address your questions and concerns or ideas regarding opportunities and so on. So please feel free to mute yourself and speak at any time. So, okay, if there aren't any questions or comments at this point, I'll move forward. Regarding the Solutions Gateway, there are a couple of key concepts that I should lay out on the table right from the start. So, in the context of this platform, a solution is actually a process, and you can find here a brief definition of a solution. A solution is a process that the local government can implement to enhance low emission development, as I was telling you. And this means that it's a coherent group of actions that goes from policy down to technology and finance to try to maximize the impacts. So this is really a key concept. Another key concept is the idea of a solution package. It's very simple. A solution package is just a group of several solutions that are put together, because when they are implemented together, they generate synergies. That's all, and they help to maximize the impacts of the intervention. So it's as simple as that. So we are here in the homepage of the Solutions Gateway. Let's start exploring. So regardless of which button I click here, we are taken to a search page. The only difference is the tab where we land. So you saw we had the 3 buttons on the homepage. We now have similar 3 buttons. But here, this is a search page that is intended to help the user find what is of interest to him or to her. So here are the unfiltered results. So currently we have 16 solutions online, 6 solution packages, and 92 case studies. This is quite a bit of information already. So the user can filter it, for example, by sector, and can bring down the case studies, solution packages, and solutions. And you can see here the filtered results. To remove the filters, just click on this orange button. Very simple. But there are other opportunities to filter, like free text, and also a particularity for the case studies. You can search by location. So, for example, let's say I want to see case studies from Canada, for example. And here we have a few case studies. Some of them relate already to district energy, like, for example, this one, and others here. But this is just to give you an idea that the Solutions Gateway is a very easy to navigate. Is a platform that is very easy to navigate. It's really very user-friendly. But so let's see what the solution is. Let's explore a solution. Let's zoom in so that you can gain.
Anna?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I ask you something just on the filtering? So can you only filter
Sure.
by sector and region, or can you also filter by, let's say, actions, for instance, planning, stakeholder engagement, procurement, things like this as well?
Okay. Yes, you can also search, for example, even with the free text, you can use, let's see what it returns. We actually have a solution on sustainable public procurement, and that's what you find here in first place. But you'll also find, for example, related case studies. This is actually in filtering solution packages. There isn't anything specific there because the detailed guidance is in the solutions. But in the advanced search, there are also other options to filter the results, the contents, let's say, more in terms of benefits, because we thought that would be the easiest way, the easiest entry point for the user, but also in terms of complexity, adaptation, cross-link. But you will see that the solutions do address stakeholder engagement. Let's go into one particular solution. It doesn't really matter which. We can take sustainable public procurement, for example, although this is not a very typical solution. This is a cross-sectoral one. Maybe let's get another one more typical. I think this is a particular solution that is very simple, so it will be good to illustrate. So when the user lands on the solution web page, this is what the user finds. There's a brief description on what the solution is about. There is information on why the solution is relevant for the local government, what are the main long-term impacts and more immediate benefits and co-benefits. But then there are several sections here that you can see that will only become available if the user logs in, registers and logs in. I'm going to show you in a few minutes from now. I'm going to show you how to register and log in. It's very simple, but for now, just to give you I will overview the structure of the solution. I'm just going to introduce my credentials and let's move forward. So each solution has the same structure, and after I log in, maybe you've noticed that I already have some additional functionalities here. We'll get into that shortly. But so first, in the solution we have an overview. It indicates in a very succinct way, in a very brief way, what are the key actions that the local government can take. It's always in the perspective of the local government to enable the implementation of this process, of this solution. What are the key required actions, those that are the core of the solution, and then also what are the multiplier actions, the actions that will enhance the impacts through synergies or others. So this is just a very brief overview, but then further down there are here these sections, enabler, required, and multiplier action sections, where we will go into more detail into each one of the actions listed in the overview. And I think this will now start to address what you were asking about, Nicole. So again, within the enabler, the required actions, this same structure repeats, where we have information or guidance regarding recommended policy actions, regulation, governance or organizational aspects, capacity building, stakeholder engagement that you were asking about, and this is part of each and every one of the solutions, technology, finance and funding aspects, and also awareness raising. this solution for some reason is not included here, awareness rating, but here it is in the multiplier actions. But so this is just to give you the overall structure, but there are a few additional sections that are available. Of course, the level of detail changes from solution to solution, depending on the specific process. But let me call your attention also to this section, the reality check section. So with the reality check, in a very brief, concise way, the city user has information on whether this solution may be applicable to its context. It also has information on the required preconditions before starting to implement. What are the typical success factors indicated? The follow-up recommended, what are the key barriers, and what are the main risks, both in terms of risks for the process, for the solution, for the project itself, or derived from the project. So this is a very important section right here, the reality check. We also include in each solution some suggested or recommended indicators to keep track, to monitor progress regarding the development of the process and implementation. And the section that follows is the workflow. This is step-by-step guidance on how to implement the solution, how to implement the process. And in this case, in particular, procurement comes up here. Of course, it is again addressed in more detail in the enabler, required, and multiplier actions as needed. So this is the step-by-step. Our initial intention was actually to make this more pretty with boxes and then with the sub-steps, but this is what was possible to implement in terms of visual layout, and I think it's clear enough. So a few additional sections that are available as well pertain to the potential for the solution or this process to contribute to climate change mitigation. I told you that the Solutions Gateway was funded through the European Commission. It was in a program for climate change mitigation, so we included this. But of course, it's also very relevant for the work that we do with the cities. And here, indeed, we do try to get information from different sources. There is a bit of research and desk research going into this. There's also a section on the benefits of national and subnational integration, where we try to list the benefits for the local government of engaging in coordination and cooperation with the other levels of government to facilitate the implementation of the solution, for example, to remove key existing legal barriers or market barriers. And on the other hand, we also try to list the benefits for other levels of government of cooperating in the implementation of such a process, trying to bring together the different parties. Another very relevant section is the resources section. And again, the same structure repeats. Within the resource section, we have case studies, city case studies. So the case studies we have in the Solutions Gateway are case studies that usually provide very quantified information regarding the benefits of the solution, at the same time that document the process of implementation. And lessons learned and so on. So the idea is to have for each solution several case studies that really can inspire other cities to implement a similar solution in its local context. We usually try to have fairly brief case studies. In terms of size, they can range from 2 to 8 pages usually. Something that I should say is that in addition to this brief description that is here, we can click to open, and you will notice that many of these resources that are listed, case studies and not only case studies, other resources such as tools and guides, handbooks, they are hosted elsewhere. They are not hosted in the Solutions Gateway itself, meaning that we actually point to websites from the partners. Of course, we always give recognition. We always identify the source, and in a few minutes I'll show you in more detail the types of recognition that we give. But so the idea is to provide resources so that the city users of the Solutions Gateway can find out more about the practical implementation, can find resources. The Solutions Gateway really is a platform, so it's an entry point. But then for the cities that want to learn more, they can find here the relevant links. The idea, of course, the ambition is to try to have in one stop a lot of expert information. So here you can see that these are just internal shortcuts. These take us to the key sections that I've just shown you before. Reality check, for example. B-stop 3, reality check, workflow resources, but there are some new buttons here that I would still like to briefly share with you. So, for example, we have a link to a finance tool. This is an interactive tool based on a decision-making tree. It's very simple. So, based on the replies. The user is prompted to answer questions, and depending on the answer that the user gets, it is taken to a set of guidance on finance mechanisms. This is just to give you an idea. This is something that we can continue to expand, and this is a tool that is only available for logged-in users. Another interesting interactive functionality is this button. The intention is to help the city users connect with experts that can support further implementation. I see that there was a message. Okay. Thank you. It was a message from the colleague from GIZ. We'll follow up by email later on. Let's see. So, for example, in the experts, what we are doing is we are connecting with a LinkedIn group, which is called Pool of Experts, and then has thematic subgroups. And we can also pool to additional groups for exchange. So, for example, in the case of procurement, we are connecting to a forum that is managed by ICLEI Europe that has a lot of activity, actually. And then there's also there are also some buttons here that enable the cities to also provide us inputs. So, for example, to report on results, to share materials such as case studies and guides, etc., and also to rate the solution, and even to print it, to download it. So this is the general structure of a solution. I'm sorry if I went into too much detail already, but so this same structure repeats to all the solutions in the Solutions Gateway, and of course the level of detail is very solution specific. So I chose to show you a solution that is very simple. It's basically the implementation of a project, but there are the solutions that go into more detail and become much more descriptive as well. Let's see. So I again would like to open the floor to you. to give you an opportunity to ask questions and comments. Next, I would also like to show you what visibility opportunities exist for city cases, for existing materials, for experts, for organizations, and so on. But before moving forward, I would like to see if you have questions or comments.
Hi, Anna. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Go ahead, Nicole.
No, so it was very clear. Thank you very much for showing this. I didn't have specific questions on the gateways. It looks really good already like this. I just wanted to know, maybe I've missed this before. Do you know how many local governments are actively using this site? Do you have an idea of how many visitors you get or how many people actually use it?
Mm-hmm. The information that I have is actually a little bit outdated because the project that funded the Solutions Gateway ended in March. So in April we updated that, but since then I haven't checked again. At that time, I can tell you that we had a little over 150 registered users, and we had very good statistics. On the 10 months after the official, since the official launch of the platform, which was in April 2015, until March 2016, we recorded on average visits from 60 different countries. So I think this is a pretty, yes, it's a pretty good it's a pretty good resource. So in terms of the usability, we also had, of course, the advantage that the Solutions Gateway was developed in a project that gathered cities from 4 emerging economy countries and from eight different European countries. So this already helped us, of course, in getting the traffic up. But yes, so in terms of usability, we are confident that this is a good resource and we want to continue to make it alive and to expand the contents. So we are very glad to develop contents on district energy.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Okay, very good. So I would really like to show you how the different partners, because we are indeed working in partnership with different entities to have this platform online. And I would like to show you the different visibility opportunities that exist. So one, of course, is for the cities. ICLEI is an international association of local governments, and of course it's part of our mission to help peer learning and knowledge sharing between the cities. So the case studies are very easily accessible, and these are accessible also to users that are not registered and are not logged in. So that's one. Another is for the organizations that somehow cooperate in the development or revision of contents of the online contents that are on the Solutions Gateway, or that provide links to already existing resources that are relevant in the context of specific solutions or of specific solution packages. So this is the term that we use is a solution gateway supporter. It doesn't mean that there is a financial contribution. It's really in-kind contribution, as I was describing. And here, so one of the ways we give recognition is indeed to show the logos and to indicate where such organization contributed. Of course, we only upload the logo after the logos after the organizations give written authorization to do so, of course. Another way in which both the organizations, let me go into a solution, any solution will do really, just to show you. So in each solution, at the end, you will see that there is a section called Developer. And here we'll list both the organizations and the authors that have contributed to the drafting or review of the solutions. And in addition to this, of course, we always invite the experts that cooperate in the development of the solutions to register in the pool of experts. It's also a way to give visibility and to enable them to interact directly with other cities and also with experts from the public and private sector that may want to share additional information and can open the door to additional resources. So these overall are the opportunities for review, for visibility within the online platform, but of course we will build on this, and cooperation in the context of the Solutions Gateway will also fit in, for example, to webinars, capacity building webinars, which we plan to organize. And of course, the obvious speakers to invite to such webinars are cities that have their case studies profiled, as well as speakers from organizations that in one way or another contributed to the solutions and to the packages. I actually haven't shown you yet the structure of a package, and I apologize, I forgot. Let me go back very quickly. So we can take any package. Let's take this one. It's related to energy. When the user lands, you can see that there is, of course, here an indication of where the user is, but you'll see that the structure seems similar to the structure of a solution. There is an initial brief description, there is the motivation, the main impacts and benefits, but then instead of having the detailed guidance that we find in the solutions, what we actually have here, it's almost like an index to the solutions that integrate this package. So for example, earlier we were looking at this particular solution. From here the user can also find this solution. So it's another entry point. It's another way to arrive at the detailed guidance that then the user can explore at its own pace, depending on his or her interests, of course. So this was what I had to present to you. It was already a long presentation, so I thank you very much for your attention, and I would like to hear from you, from your side, on where you see opportunities for cooperation regarding topics of interest. In the previous meeting we had in the launch of the Capacity Building Task Force, Patrick had already mentioned interest to contribute to guidance regarding district cooling. Thank you for that, Patrick. Emma from Carbon Trust had also referred interest in some specific topics. Nicole, I don't know if you want to go and ask questions regarding a particular aspect or make comments in this regard. I would very much like to hear from you both.
Okay, so I mean, as Emma told you last time, so we are very focused on all the softer skills of the development of heat network projects. So everything which goes from stakeholder engagement to planning advice. We do also a lot of financial and techno-economic modeling advice as well. And we have contributed to worked on over 40 different district energy projects in the UK, for instance. So I'm sure that we could contribute to the Solutions Gateway in terms of case studies of what has worked so far in the UK, for instance. That's for sure. We have many case studies that we could share with you, and maybe write a section on stakeholder engagement. I mean, we have developed a model which is actually which will actually be free to use for local authorities here in the UK. But I'm sure that it could be free to use also for public sector bodies around Europe and the world, but I would need to double check this with my colleague who developed these financial models. And these are cash flow models that are aimed exactly targeted at local authorities to when they have to do their techno-economic analysis of their projects. And these cash flow models can help them to do quality assurance, for instance, of models developed by other consultants, or do them in-house as well. And we also have models for stakeholder engagement, so we could maybe contribute with these model and have it as part of different solutions. To have them, for instance, in the guidance, in the workflow, on how to implement the process, and so in these different phases. And yes, I think in terms of, as I said, in terms of case studies, we've mostly done district heating rather than cooling. So it's good if Patrick has more district cooling examples that he could contribute to. And yeah, just to recap, I think stakeholder engagement, financial modeling, and planning advice are our key strengths at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. I would like to hear Patrick as well, but I would also like to show you more regarding the process of engagement and how we could bring in carbon trust expertise here regarding those two particular aspects that you mentioned. Patrick, I would like to give you the opportunity to ask questions or make comments at this point, because I spoke a lot. I hope I haven't spoken too much already.
No, Anna, thank you for the presentation. A really interesting site you have here. My first thought when I saw this, can you upload things on your own, or do I need to send something to you to upload, for example, case studies here as we had done in the Celsius project?
So far we are centralizing the content upload, yes, here at the ICLEI World Secretariat. But the sending of elements to upload can be as simple as, for example, if a case study is available online, you can just send me the URL, and we will simply create a link with the associated brief description and indication of the source of the case study, and it can be quickly made available through the Solutions Gateway, both for the direct search that you've seen from the search page, and we can then link it to specific solutions and solution packages where the case study is relevant, using that same brief description and URL.
Yeah, sounds good. I think you should get access to our wiki page where we have uploaded everything we have done in this Celsius project since 2013. So I think if you got hold of that information, there's quite a lot to upload in your page here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thanks so much for that. Yes, I think that is a wonderful resource that you have. Actually, I do have access already. I think it's a wonderful resource. I do. I have been in contact prior with Katrina from the city of Gothenburg.
Yeah, Katrina Folland.
Poland, exactly, and also with Maya Hogvik. I apologize because names are a challenge for me.
You're right, Maya. But Maya left us for another work, so she's gone.
Yes, sorry to hear. But at the time, there was a challenge, which was that the contents that you have in the Wikipedia are supposed to be available only to the Celsius cities. And in the Solutions Gateway, we can create different levels of access, actually. This is something I think it's worthwhile further discussing with the partners, even in a wider group, also with UNEP, of course. But in the Solutions Gateway, we have different layers of access. So, for example, currently, all the contents that we have are freely available to all cities that register and log in. Some contents are publicly available even without the login, but the full details of the solutions, for that we do require cities to log in, because it's also in our interest, of course, we want to know which cities are interested in which topics so that we can better support them. But so there was a bit of a challenge there. So I propose that we follow up bilaterally on this. Could you indicate, now that Maya is gone, could you please tell me who would be the right contact for this?
You
For
contact
exploring
me.
this. Through you. Okay.
Yeah, you contact me on that one. So I'm going to help you. If I can't manage the wiki, I have two girls here that are experts in it.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Patrick. So I will follow up by email, and thank you very much for that suggestion. Excellent.
Thank you, Anna.
Okay, very good. Thank you both. I would like to show you two tools that we use for the content development. This is first, before going into the files, let me tell you. What we have planned to do is to have a two-stage process for contribution for the development of the solutions and packages. We've developed a very simple form, which Patrick has already seen, actually, but that I haven't shared with all the partners yet, because UNEP is still to validate this template. So I've only shared it with a couple of cities because I wanted to see if the form was effective or not. But so basically, in this form, it provides information on the general concepts that I presented to you today. And then here, this brief table, you will find that this actually mirrors what we saw in the solutions in the overview section. So in the first step, I am sharing this form with all interested partners and inviting them to use, with simple track changes, to edit and and change as they see fit, and so on. And we also add a few of the key questions that then feed into, for example, the reality check section and so on. And finally, asking the partners if they wish to be engaged in the second step, which is the review of the detailed draft of the online guidance. So this is something that I'll be happy to share with Carbon Trust as well on the topics that you are interested.
Yes, that would be very useful. Thank you.
Exactly. I'll actually first I'll share the list of topics we're working on, and you can pinpoint exactly which ones you'd like to receive.
Yes,
share the
even better.
Yes, so as not to overload you with information. But so this is one. Hello, Patrick. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I'm back.
Oh,
You're back. You're back.
Ah, now I'm back as well. I was about to message and I couldn't hear you anymore. Okay, perfect.
okay, sorry about this. I'm
No
actually
worries.
calling from home, so I'm not sure
Ah,
where
okay.
the problem is. That's why
I'm also at home. I thought it was my problem, but it's good to hear.
sorry about this. Okay, so I was just about to show you a draft of a solution. So the template that we use a simple Word document to work with the different experts. So once again, just using the track changes, we invite the different experts to edit the text. As you see, it can be easily done. We have instructions highlighted in yellow. These, of course, will be deleted from the final content. So it's basically the same structure that we will then have online. So here again, the overview section, the process phases, step by step, and then the reality check section. And I'd also like to show you here regarding the enabler required and the multiplier actions. Again, the same type of structure repeats with policy, regulation, governance. Governance here, we are mostly referring to organizational arrangements, both internal or contractual with external entities, capacity building, and stakeholder engagement. So linking back to what I mentioned earlier, and to avoid overloading you, in the case of carbon trust, if you are interested, we can engage you, for example, in the review of this specific section in the stakeholder engagement, in the finance sector, and this can be in the different sections. So let me go here through the. I apologize that I'm moving so fast, but for example, we do.
Governance is also a good section for us now that I see it. Government.
Yes, exactly. And again, stakeholder engagement. So I'll be happy to share the draft with you. I'll first, like I said earlier, I'll share the list of topics in which we are working. I'll let you flag on which topics you'd like to engage and at which level, if just at the high initial level of the form or of the detailed draft, and then we can work based on your interest and availability. So it's a very simple process. When we get feedback from the different experts, we then clean the document as far as possible. If there are any standing issues, any questions or comments that are not clear, we eventually may have a quick Skype call just to discuss and solve them. And once the draft is finalized, the text is consolidated, we then do the upload to the online platform. And just for your information, both of you, so in the context of the District Energy in Cities initiative, we are going to customize the district heating and district cooling solutions and packages that are going to be developed. So they will have the logo of the initiative, and of course we will also thank all the partners that cooperate and give them the recognition in those web pages, but also in the supporters web page as other entities as well. So very simple process, I think. And back to you again.
No, yeah, I agree. It sounds like a very simple process, very straightforward. So I'm very happy with this approach that you suggested of sending us a list of themes you're currently working on, so I can also forward it to my other colleagues, and I can get back to you with exactly with our main interest, and then we can think about exactly, like you could share this Word document with us, and then we would be able to make our suggestions or changes. And just in order to ask, what is your envisaged timeline? When are you what time frame are you thinking of?
Yes, it's a very good question. We aim to have 6 solutions available online by the end of the year. So by the end of December. So we are hoping to get this through fairly quickly. This was also one of the reasons why I proposed to have this meeting, so that the process would become clearer on how to move forward. But once the text is consolidated, the uploading is very fast. In a matter of hours, we can have the content online. So that should not be a problem. Our initial intention was, of course, not to have this overlap regarding the initial inputs with the simple form and the detailed guidance. Our intention was to begin the collection of early inputs earlier on, but since only now was possible to have the capacity building task force launch, now is the time when we can put things on the table and bring things together. At the same time, we didn't want to waste time because of this deadline that we have for having the comments online. So in parallel, we have been working in detailed drafts. So that's the reason why I still believe it is possible to have to achieve this objective of having these solutions online before the end of the year. But we would greatly appreciate if we could have a quick turnaround from your side as well. I don't know if that will be viable from your side, but I would also like to hear from you. And I would prefer if you engage in the review of less content, but that you can still deliver within this short time frame, if that's okay for you.
Yes, this sounds possible, of course.
Okay, this is great. Very good. So, following up by email then. Patrick, I see that you've unmuted yourself. Please go ahead.
I think we can fix these 6 solutions you want in the time of this side of the new year.
Oh, that's excellent. Oh, I'm very glad to have Gothenburg's engagement in this, Patrick. That is wonderful to hear. Go ahead.
What type of solution do you want, really?
Well, for now, the solutions that we are describing are fairly high level, let's say. They are not going into a lot of detail in technical terms, let's say, because first we want to bring, to offer the umbrella and then zoom in on the different more specific projects, more specific processes that feed into that larger tree. So the topics we're working on right now are the topics I mentioned also in the capacity building task force recently. So we are working on a specific solution for the implementation of district cooling and another for the implementation of district heating, new systems in already developed urban areas. Then we are also working on another solution which looks more at the aspect of planning. So we try to bring together in one solution, in one process, the energy strategy and integrating district energy in the energy and land use and urban planning. So that's another process. It's that integration. And I would say these are really the 3 key solutions that we are working on at this point, but we are also working on another one on the retrofitting of already existing district heating systems. And we are in an early stage of development of a solution on cogeneration and trigeneration. And finally, also on a very early stage, on a solution on the integration of the different energy systems. And we may actually see ourselves, depending on how the work in the other solutions evolves, we may actually restructure the sixth solution. Our initial idea was to zoom in more into more technical aspects regarding the connection between the different grids, for example, cooling and heating and storage and the power system and so on. But to be honest, for us to move forward with this solution, I think we really need a substantial input from the different cities and the different partners, because for now we are still in a fairly early stage. But I think this can also be a very relevant and interesting solution. So if you have comments or suggestions on either of these topics that I mentioned, please go ahead.
We have a couple of these topics you mentioned. I think I can, when I listen to you, I think 4 of them is already in progress. We have done that. So, but I think Nicole have other things in UK about the government and legislation and that kind of stuff. We are not so used to that here in Sweden because we are quite communist here. So it's easy to build a system. Because everybody is doing what the government say.
Yes, no, it's true that here in the UK the policy is a bit more uncertain in general, but although there's been a lot of support now for district heating, and you may be aware of in England of the Heat Network Development Unit, which is funding projects for local authorities, and just last week the pilot scheme for the Heat Network Investment Project has been launched as well. So there are a lot of funding available to local authorities, but it's mostly at the beginning to investigate the feasibility of the projects, and it's true that it's harder to actually get the projects off the ground. But I'm sure, I mean, we have a big policy team at the Carbon Trust as well, so we could also contribute with some a case study of something related to the policy arena here in the UK for sure, if that could be useful.
Yeah, I know, Mikael, because we in the CESUR project we work together with Islington in London, and I know the problem they had. So it's good. You can contribute with that kind of stuff. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean we're working every day with different local authorities, and we're always aware of what the barriers are and what they're experiencing at the moment. So I'm sure that we can put something together to inform this solution.
Great.
One thing that we also try to capture in the solutions is to make clear when a specific solution may be relevant for a given city or not. So like, for example, the solution on the integration of district energy into energy planning and so on. This is a solution that can be relevant for different contexts, even if, for example, if the local government doesn't have an energy utility. So it's also important to try to map out these different, how cities with different roles and different mandates may be able to take more advantage of a given solution or another. And with the guidance from you, your organizations, if you see that there are specific solutions, specific processes that are missing, please flag them. We would be very glad to explore further with you on how we can take this forward and make this more suitable for the cities in different countries and different frameworks, legal and regulatory frameworks can take advantage of the guidance. Of course, exactly. So that's an invitation that is permanent. There is no deadline on that. Even beyond, of course, the end of the year, everything will be very relevant. I would like to say that in addition to the online guidance, I already mentioned that we want to do webinars, and of course, also related to that, we want to develop PowerPoints also to support basically capacity building modules that can be deployed, can be used in the different target countries of the initiative and so on. But so that can be another way to pool and to profile already existing resources such as case studies or other resources that exist, because in those materials we can also take advantage of that. And again, for that, also additional suggestions are very welcome. I hope this makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it makes sense.
Okay. So we've taken up the whole hour. I apologize if this is already starting to cause you inconvenience, so I would like to wrap up for today. And thank you very much. Thank you both for your interest and your availability, and to say that I look forward to continue working with you and with your organizations in these coming weeks, so that hopefully we can put very nice materials up there for the cities to use.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for your time, Anna, and for walking us through this very useful platform. And yeah, as we said, just if you could send me an email. So Emma is on leave, as she told you, for the next couple of weeks, but you can send me an email and copy her in, and I will make sure to get things going even while she's on leave.
Okay, sounds great. I will do that. Thank you very much.
The same to me, Anna. So because I haven't make notes of anything here, so my memory is quite poor. So please remind me.
I don't believe that, but I will do that, absolutely. And at any time, if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to connect. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Thank you both.
Thank you too. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.